Thank you for selecting the Test Taking and Test Anxiety Student Success Workshop. This presentation is sponsored by the Peer Mentor Program at Estrella Mountain Community College. The Peer Mentor Program started in 2008 by students of EMCC. Our mission is to help new and returning students become successful college students by helping them develop strong skills for life and college success. Peer mentors are fellow students who can help brainstorm strategies like time management or organization with you. Peer mentors are also knowledgeable about campus resources and can provide suggestions or options for you to be successful in your educational goals. Exactly what are exams and why are they important? Exams are a way that your instructor can know if you have learned the information in the course. Some exams are comprehensive. That means that all of the information that has been covered from the start of the semester until now will be on the test. Other exams might be on a single topic or a set of chapters. Exams are different for every instructor, so it is important that you take the time to be prepared early and that you are ready for your test. Finally, exams are oftentimes a large portion of your overall grade. Achieving the best score you can will definitely affect your final grade in the class. There are some myths about test taking that you should know. One common myth is that cramming for a test is a plan that works. We have all heard of someone who stayed up all night to study, or maybe we have done it ourselves. Cramming actually doesn't work. Your mind cannot hold all of the information in one session. You'll get less sleep, which means you're not as alert during the exam, and you won't retain the information while you're studying. Another myth about studying for a test is that if I just read over my notes the day before an exam, I should be fine. We will see some effective strategies of how to study coming up in this presentation. One final myth to review is that in order to perform well on an exam, I only need to have a general idea of the information. Actually, exams are usually based on specifics. Professors want to see the details. Making a plan is critical to your success on an exam. By using your syllabus, you can determine when your exams will be in each of your classes. Start planning 2 weeks out so that you're ready on the day of the test. By reviewing the material early, you'll be able to talk to your instructor and ask questions about topics that are not clear to you. You can be most prepared by reviewing early, and this gives you time to get organized and to set up a schedule for reviewing all of the material that will be on the test. How should you review for a test? Well, first, read over your notes and highlight the most important information. You can create flashcards, complete practice problems, or some textbooks have small quizzes to test your knowledge at the end of the chapter. A study group made up of fellow students is another great way to get ready for an exam. Talking through what you know about a subject reinforces your learning and helps others clarify information too. A great idea you might consider is to explore your previous exams and homework for the class. There are great examples of problems or questions that might be asked on an exam. Some professors will provide you a study guide, while many others will not. If your instructor does not provide you a study guide, create your own. The more you read, write, and recite the information, the more comfortable you will become with that information. Did you know learning happens in many ways? Some people learn by doing, some learn by watching or observing, and others learn by listening. The best learning happens when you do a little bit of all three techniques. Reading, reciting, and repeating what you are studying helps you remember important vocabulary words, concepts, or formulas. While you are planning out your study time, be sure to consider a place to study that is quiet and that you can stay focused on your plan. Some of us study best in a quiet place like a library, or early in the morning, or late at night when our homes are quiet. It doesn't matter where you study as long as you find a good place that works for you. By reviewing information every day for a short time, like 30 minutes or even an hour, you are more likely to remember the information if you see it multiple times. This is another reason cramming doesn't work very well. You need time to process and recall the information that you are studying. Here are some tips to help you retain the information. Sometimes using or creating a mnemonic device can help us remember a concept. I still remember the order of operations as "Please excuse my dear Aunt Sally." The first letter of each of the words becomes a way for me to quickly recall the information when I need it. Another great tip is to study what you need the most help with. Sometimes we are tempted to take the study guide we are provided or that we create and start from the top and work down. What if the top of the list contains items you already know well? Don't spend time on what you already know. Focus on what you are having the most trouble with. If you would like extra help, our Academic Success Center in Estrella Hall is a fantastic way to review prior to an exam. There are different formats that an instructor may use on an exam. True and false, multiple choice, and essays are some of the formats you might encounter. Take a minute to read through the strategies on this slide. For true and false questions, remember that the whole sentence must be true or the whole sentence must be false. Also, any type of qualifier like always, never, and except are words to look for in a statement. For multiple choice questions, read the question or statement carefully. Immediately cross out any unfamiliar or unrealistic choices. This will narrow down your choices to 2 responses. Essays are common on college exams. Be sure to answer the question fully, but be mindful of your time. A good tip is to write down your main point and then add the details to support your answer. During the test, there are some additional strategies to consider. First and foremost is to read all of the directions on an exam. Be sure you understand what is being asked of you so that you correctly answer the question and in the format that the teacher requires. Additionally, read the questions carefully. After you answer the question, go back and reread it to be sure you answer that question the right way. A great technique to use on an exam is called a data dump. A data dump is taking all of the information you want to remember or that you've been practicing because it's not coming easily to your mind, and just write it down somewhere on the test before you even start the exam. Let's say you've been memorizing formulas for an exam or maybe some important dates. Just so you don't forget them, write them down on the exam paper right when you get it. This way, when you're in the middle of your test, if your mind goes blank, you'll have the information already written down. You can take away some of your stress by feeling confident that you won't forget the information because you already wrote it down somewhere and you can refer to it whenever you need it during the test. And always remember to use good time management skills. If you're stuck on a question, move on to the next one and then come back to it after you've answered the other questions. You don't want to spend too much time on 1 or 2 questions and then not have enough time to answer all of the other questions on the exam. When you're finished, if there's still time left, go back and double check your work. You can use all of the time allotted by your professor on an exam. Don't feel pressured to get up and leave without checking over your test just because other students have started to leave the exam. It is your test and your grade. Be sure to take the time you need. After the test, stay confident that you did your very best. The test is over and you should feel some relief that it is finished. If there are other projects or exams coming up, keep up on your schedule and keep going. Be sure to treat yourself with a reward for all of the work you have done to get ready for this test. It might be a Starbucks, a trip to the movies with a friend, or just some free time to yourself to relax and unwind. Many people experience test anxiety, a sense of nervousness or uneasiness before or even during an exam. Anxiety can be anticipatory. This means you're worried about something before it happens. Anxiety or stress can also be situational. Right in the middle of an exam, you might begin to feel stressed or panicked. By having a plan, you can work through it. The most important thing you can do is to remain calm. Realize that you are experiencing stress and just stop for a moment. Maybe you can count to 10 slowly and breathe in and out. Sometimes looking away or putting your head down on the desk for a moment might help to calm down. Relaxation techniques are different for everyone. Maybe getting out a piece of gum or a mint could help take your mind off for a moment. By having a planned panic strategy, you can work through a stressful moment if it occurs. Stress is something we all experience at some time or another. Sometimes we may feel overwhelmed, and we may or may not have the resources to handle or solve the situation in the moment. Stress can be brought on by many things, but some contributing factors are the lack of the 3 R's. When we do not have enough rest, relaxation, or the time to renew ourselves, we may experience stress. Additionally, poor health habits like eating well or getting exercise can add to our stress level. Sometimes we have some personal situations that are unique that cause us stress. One thing to remember is that stress can be contagious and easy to develop. Focusing on what we can control, how we take care of ourselves, and avoiding stressors when we can are some ways to beat stress or to reduce stress in our lives. There are many ways to overcome stress. In this presentation, we can share some of the most important ways to reduce stress, but they are not the only ways. First and foremost, make some time for yourself. This may not seem easy if you're juggling many priorities in your life, but you should make some time for yourself, even if it's only 10 minutes here or there, to take a break from what you are doing. Talking to others can help. Sometimes just sharing what you're feeling with someone else can make you feel better. If you're having trouble figuring out how to reduce or handle stress, consider using a resource like counseling. We have a full counseling division here on campus if you need help. Know what you can take on and what you need to say no to in order to reduce your stress level. As we look back to test-taking anxiety, consider these tips. Avoiding stressful situations or people when you can is one way to eliminate unnecessary stress. Remember, it is okay to say no to extra tasks or projects sometimes. If you aren't required to do it, don't take on extra workload when you're already feeling overwhelmed. Most importantly, take time to take care of yourself. Get rest, take a break, then relax with friends or family, or sometimes even alone by yourself. 10 minutes to clear your mind will do more than you think to reduce stress. Preparing for an exam can really help relieve some of your stress by starting early to make a study plan, reviewing the information thoroughly, and using memory techniques. You'll be well on your way to feeling prepared for your next test. Being prepared really does help reduce stress. Finally, be sure to get some rest the night before your exam and don't cram. In this presentation, we reviewed how to prepare for a test and how to reduce test anxiety. Thank you for selecting this workshop. The Peer Mentor program presents several workshops throughout the semester. Continue to check our website for dates and times. Thank you!